Good morning. All right, so I've been rolling in my head about a couple of things that are kind of converging all together in one kind of one space. So the other day I saw a video, just a YouTube short, and you may have seen this video. It seemed like it was very popular, but it was I don't know the context of it. You kind of pick up and you see the small scene there, and it's an entrepreneur guy, and it's a podcast thing, and he's got two younger people. It seems like he's the boss, and like they're all in the same office or something. I'm not really sure the context, but he says to them, "If I gave you $1 million, how would you feel?" First young guy's like, "Yeah, I'd be pretty stoked." And he goes to the girl, and she's like, "Yeah, it'd be awesome." He's like, "Could anybody make you sad if I gave you $1 million for a couple days?" He's like, "No, I'd be pretty up, and you wouldn't be able to stop me." And goes to the girl, same thing, right? And he goes, "10 million." And they're like, "Yeah." And eventually he goes, $20 million. If I gave you $20 million, how excited would you be? Yeah, off the charts. You couldn't get me down. And he goes, "All right, what if I gave you $20 million, but tomorrow you don't get to wake up? It's over. Game over, you're done. You get $20 million, but you don't get to wake up tomorrow." And the response from the guy was, "Oh, no way." The girl, the young girl, also, "No, not a chance." And he goes, "Okay, so both of you believe that waking up tomorrow is worth more than $20 million. Why don't you live like it?" I used an explicative, but point made, right? What a point. And that was like, do you believe that waking up tomorrow is worth more than $20 million? And I think all of us would be like, yeah, absolutely. But I couldn't, that wasn't enough. I had to keep like rolling it over in my head, because there was something about it where it's like, no, this is beautiful and good, but also there was something about it that just didn't quite click in a way that I could like get fully behind it. And so then I started thinking about the sermon that Pastor Mike preached a while back, covering out of Luke the story of the rich fool. And that one has stuck with me the most out of any of the sermons. Not even necessarily his best sermon, but that was a good one. And it there's something about it that's really powerful. Even just the text itself, the story goes that there's this man who's done really well for himself in business, and now he's restructuring his investments and assets, and he's setting himself up to where, he's going to build new grain storage, new warehouses, and, he's got passive income that's going to allow him to retire and live off the good of the land until the clock runs out. And he's called a fool because that night his life will be required of him. What made him a fool? I think there's a thing going on where we do this thing where we try to excuse him, and it's because he was selfish. Okay, maybe, yeah. I mean, rich young ruler comes to mind, right? You've got all this stuff. Well, sell it, give it to the poor, and follow me, right? Selfishness. That doesn't feel right either. It's just all these partial things that don't quite seem to fit together quite authentically or genuinely or completely in a sense. And when I think about the rich fool, his methodology mixed with his mentality are the exact same as everybody that I know. If you do well in business, if you do a good job, that you would then get the opportunity to retire and enjoy the fruits of your labor until you clock out. And nobody would really want to argue against that, because that's kind of the hope that we all have. So when I started asking, what made him really foolish? Was it his selfishness? Maybe, that could be a part of it. But I don't think that's the heart of it. It's that he genuinely believed that money could make him happy. Which is, I think, why I do agree that waking up tomorrow is worth more than $20 million. So I've got this story of the entrepreneurs who are saying, live because, you value living and waking up more than $20 million, which is true. But then you have the story of the Bible where Jesus calls a guy a fool. So I think the thing that made him so incredibly foolish was that he believed that money could provide him all the things that he wanted. And I think that in your example that of the $20 million guy telling us that, life's worth more than $20 million, he's still appealing to that same ethic. He said that $20 million is here, your life is here. He's elevated the worth and the value of $20 million because all that money could provide for you: security, safety, confidence, validation. It would be effective to make you happy, to satisfy the desires of your soul. And then he reminds you that, well, if you don't have life, you don't have this. He's actually not appealing to anything that Jesus would call great wisdom. Now, you probably hearing, just like I did, were like, yeah, I do value waking up more than $20 million. Life is a gift. Go get it. But maybe I would continue on acting the exact same way that the fool did. What made the rich man foolish? It's that he didn't realize that life, you can't serve God and money. And all the things that he thought he wanted, all the things that he desired in his heart, on some level, he believed that money could actually provide them. That's what made him a fool. So the point of a passage like that is not to then just say, hey, you should give more, be less selfish, be more. No. What is the beautiful pearl of wisdom? What is the pearl of great price, as it were? What's the treasure that we find in a field? And it's being free from money, free from the power of it, especially in the light of how much God says that he wants to be our provision. He wants to be our shelter. He wants to be our hope. He wants to be everything. And you can't have God and money occupy the same spot in your heart. So what does it mean to live in the faith? It's to have faith and not have your faith in money. It's pretty hard though when everything in America, the air that we breathe, is built upon the hopes that are fulfilled from having numbers in a bank account. Don't be a fool. I hope you have a great day.